belated Father's Day. I want to say it. So happy Father's Day, fathers. We just celebrated you recently. Sheila, what do you normally do on Father's Day?
I don't do anything extraordinary, but somewhere in my heart I celebrate them. Yeah, not much of a celebration as it were, but I just appreciate the role that they play in society. Yeah.
I like the in your heart part. So somewhere in your heart you celebrate them.
Yeah.
Fathers, we love you, we appreciate you, we acknowledge the roles you play in our lives. For me, I just send Happy Father's Day to all, to my dad and to Baba Watoto, and then to the others who,
So no mega celebration for you also?
I don't know what happens, but well, we acknowledge you, fathers. So happy Father's Day from the different podcasts. So it's almost the end of June.
Yes.
Half of the year. What do you have a ritual for half of the year? Do you do stock taking? Do you celebrate? Do you look back?
Yeah, absolutely. I do quarterly for me. So I'll do end of March. I'll see how far I've come from January till March. Then I'll do again end of June. But also in between I'll check if I'm on track or I'm off track.
Do you have a list?
Yes, I do. I do have a list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so for 2022, how far are you?
So far so good, I would say. Not exactly where I want to be, but I feel like things are beginning to align. When in the beginning of the year I felt a bit disoriented, there's what I wanted to do, there's where I was at, I felt a bit disoriented, but now this far I feel like I'm more aligned. I'm not there yet, but I feel like I'm on track now, so
good stuff.
Not bad, yeah.
For me, I think I just checked one box for 2022. So
how many? Out of how many?
Out of 10. I think I had between 8 to 10. And I can't even tell you where they are right now. I just remember writing it somewhere and something happened. Yeah, but I have at least somewhere. And I have people who are keeping me accountable. But if they hear, I have only checked one box. Well, anyway, so thank you so much, guys, for subscribing, for liking, for sharing, and commenting. I'll kindly ask you again to subscribe. You're going to really enjoy this episode. So Sheila and I are going to talk about unlearning, the things that we are unlearning and the things that we are relearning. So Sheila, do you want to introduce yourself first before you start?
Yes, great. My name is Sheila Mwalili. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. So for the human experience, there's a lot. I don't necessarily identify myself with one, but yeah, I'm a mother, I have a career in media, and lots of other things, but most importantly, I like to look at myself as a spiritual being having a human experience.
We are sorry. Anyway, so Sheila is not necessarily, I guess, it's not the first time here.
No, it isn't.
You've been here several times. Yeah. So we are just going to talk about different things. And first off, so you're going to tell me what have you learned about religion and what are you unlearning and then what are you relearning?
Wow, you chose to start with religion.
I chose to start with religion.
Interesting. I don't know if you guys want to know how this started between Nekesa and I.
Please, no.
When we talk about religion,
no.
It's one mega thing that personally I have had a whole experience and learning and unlearning from childhood to Sunday school to, cramming verses and being told what God wants and what God does not want. To getting to a point where I'm beginning to discover this by myself and realizing that quite a number of those things that we were told then were meant to sort of regulate, make it easier for, your perros or the
discipline, for you to keep
toe the line. Yes. So, but now when I look back, I realize the God I learned then is not the God I relate to or with right now. And I feel more liberated now. I feel like I would want to think of a personal relationship more than following a set of rules that were set by other people. I don't know the context. I don't know where they were coming from, but that is fear-based, really. It's fear-based, it is manipulative, it is controlling. And I don't think God is like that. God is so liberal. God tells us, come, let us reason together. As much as he's high above and we are down here, but he gives us that platform. But religion most of the time does not. Or rather, the religion that I learned does not put you in a place where you can come and reason together. It puts you in a space where you follow the rules or you don't. So if you follow the rules, you get to heaven. If you don't follow the rules, then of course hell is for you and people like you.
Waiting for you.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll talk from being a woman point of view. I feel like religion has been so enslaving
Absolutely.
to women. And okay, coming also back from what I was taught or what I was learned doing my hair was wrong. I was learned putting on pants, trousers is wrong. I was told doing jewelry is wrong. So a lot of the things that I grew up knowing, story, religion, and being holy, what was explained as holy, or the picture that was painted for me as holy, it's suffering. Like really, suffering, poverty, everything that is exalted. You are suffering, you're going to heaven. If you're happy and you're enjoying your life, and in fact you make some money and you're doing, you're going straight to hell. There's something wrong with you. Nowadays we call it Illuminati. But yeah, so those some of the things I'm really, and even just being in church, just being in church, and nowadays it's all about the, what is it called? The other church, the prosperity gospel.
Prosperity gospel.
Yeah, so the prosperity gospel came, we all argued about it, fought about it, then embraced it, and now we're here. So for me, I can't even tell you whether I haven't landed on my feet. When it comes to religion. Maybe I talk about spirituality. And I agree with you, there's a higher being, there's the spiritual blah blah blah, but I cannot tell you whether I have bullet points for what I'm relearning.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
I don't know if you want to hear this, but as a woman, there was also this part for abstinence.
Not only abstinence,
but it was mega, like, because it was really big.
Yeah.
And I find a disconnect between what you were taught and what our mates were taught. And then we're in the same society and we're supposed to coexist somehow. They have a different set of beliefs. We have a different set of
so
beliefs.
So men are being told, you go and exercise your rights.
Yeah.
Well, as women, we're being told, excuse me, girls, that hymen, let it not break.
Till it felt like marriage is a destination. It's not really a journey. So it's only when you get there that you can get to that point. Then you're not prepared here in between. So you're supposed to figure it out and get there right to that particular destination. So those are some of the things I am unlearning.
You know, what made me think of religion from a women's point of view, it's also the political angle and the leadership angle. Because women, like, who are you as a woman preaching? So there's a lot of controversy that surrounded religion in and of itself. So the rest of us who are just the sheep, we are following, we're like, okay, so this one is saying this and this other one is saying this. And this other one is saying, whatever I tell you, don't listen to others, to someone else. And just watching documentaries of late, I've seen documentaries that have spoken about how the Bible has evolved over time, how some things were erased, some things were appropriately added because of the convenience of controlling the masses. Woo, that one I just said, you know what, let me just, acha nishuke hii gari, nitarudi kupanda when now it's convenient. But not right now. There's just a lot, right?
There's a lot.
So do we want to talk about how parenting, how religion has been used, and to especially parenting in the African setup, and then also what we are unlearning and what we are relearning?
Parenting was, there was a hierarchy to it. I look at it like, the way corporates have top down and that kind of a thing. So you only take orders, you don't question, you don't give your opinion, you just follow instructions. And when I look back, I realized there was a lot of, we used to be told it's rebellion, but it's not really rebellion. It's, you've been caged for such a long time, but you're a spiritual being, like I kept saying. So you can't be caged, you can only be caged for so long. At some point you'll be like, now, sasa, either mama mzai, let's talk. This is not, I understand where you're coming from, but I also have an opinion. And sort of, let's just have a conversation.
How old were you when you, can you remember when you thought, okay, no, I have a voice and I need to?
Much later, much later, like towards late teens, because I was those children who you would tell to do this and I would do it gladly. And it got to a point I began to feel like, like resentful, sort of. So the resentment was taken like you're rebellious, you have an attitude. But then I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that you said parenting had, did you say layers?
Yeah, hierarchy.
So I remember when I used to, I love watching TV. I'm a middle child. I'm in the middle of two up, two down. So I sort of grew up alone. So there's a tendency to just withdraw and be in my own world, in my own space all the time. So I remember watching a lot of comedy. And in the comedy, I remember picking, the whites were so vocal, like, and then the parents could even apologize to the kids.
Children.
And over time, it made me start thinking, by the way, how is this teenager being able to just speak their mind? Yeah. And here we are. Even if you asked me a question about like, no one, first I feel like I wasn't empowered to think for myself, because it was do this, do that, do that.
Yeah.
It's things are forced down your throat.
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion? No. Do you have a voice? Do you have a thought?
Yeah.
There was no space for that to come out. It's either you go to church and, you know, join somewhere where you feel like, go to school and do something and pass your exams, full stop.
Very important.
Yes, very important. So after that, discipline was in form of course, we were beaten.
Yeah.
Discipline was a beating for doing something wrong. But then oftentimes I used to ask myself, when did you tell me that doing this is wrong? I always felt like my parents were reacting.
It was reactive most of the time.
They were not proactive. Like, give me the set of rules, then tell me,
this is,
don't do this, don't do. Okay, of course.
Oh, we agreed on this.
Yes,
so now you've not met your side of the bargain.
There was no conversation. There was just
conversation.
Could help. I remember there's a day I was beaten thoroughly for having a sweet wrapper in my uniform, my pocket uniform. I left.
Like, for real?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, is it that you don't know I eat sweets, or is it
You're
that
suddenly shocked?
or is it that I didn't throw it in the dustbin? What exactly are you beating me for? Or is it that I misused the money? You know, there's something.
There was no reason, like, yeah.
Until now, I asked my parents, there's something we used to do as kids. Tulikuwa tukienda nje, then you rub your hands, then your skin comes out. I don't know why we used to do that.
As we used to apply glue, then glue peels off.
Then there's a day I went home and I was beaten. And until date, I asked my dad, are you the one who felt the pain for my skin being removed? Why were you beating me?
Yeah. So
you
what was the
should have
mistake?
just sat me down and explained.
Yeah.
Were you scared that I was going to get a tattoo from there? I was going to graduate or something? Like,
and most of the time, there's no answer.
they were beating us out of fear. Because it's fear, like, okay, so umefanya hii, what else are you coming to bring here? So parenting, what are we unlearning?
For me, I'm unlearning the hierarchy. I am open. Like, we can have a conversation. Like, even before I beat her, she can attest.
Yeah.
I will tell her the reason that I told you don't do this and you did. We've had this conversation before. You've gone against it. So now I have to take an action. Number two, I try to be, like, we're not just talking about punishment all the time. You know?
Okay.
I expect she's a child, she's going to grow up, she'll make mistakes. There are things I will overlook. And there are things I will not overlook, depending on the magnitude. Yeah. But depending on whether I choose to punish or not, I will talk about it. I will not just explode and, you know, take a whip up. And I will try to be conversational. And it has helped. For me, I would say it has really helped. Because one, I'm able to tell when something is not right. I'm able to tell when there's bullying at school.
Yeah.
I'm able to tell when there's bullying at the playground.
Yeah.
I'm able to tell when there are just, you know, things that are not right. Yeah. When she's not well, I can tell. Okay. And that's very important for me. And I also like the relationship we have, because I always told myself that when I get to this point, I would want it to be different. Okay. I would really, really want it to be different, because I was a very fearful child. I realized that even before my mom would realize I have made a mistake, ningejishtaki. It was that bad. So maybe after nimejishtaki, you would have atonement for my sins. And maybe the punishment will not be as severe as if she found out on her own. So I was very fearful. And I realized even later I made mistakes out of fear. Not fear of failure, but fear of how do I put it? I grew up with some people-pleasing sort of traits because I have to get it right. So for me to get it right, I need to do everything in my power to be acceptable.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing I am really, really challenging.
Yeah.
I don't want her to feel like she has to own her place in my life. Like, you're my child,
Yeah,
irrespective of whether you're good or bad, you're mine. And this is not conditional.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the major things I am unlearning.
I like that. So what I'm unlearning is the issue of I'm trying not to beat my children. Oh goodness, that is very hard, but I'm really trying. I am really trying. It's a whole balance thing. We are trying conversation, we are trying friendship, and then we're also trying to. And what you said about friendship is right, because you'll pick when the child has an issue, they'll be able to voice it out. When they have a challenge maybe in school or spaces where you're not in, they can trust you. And then based on their reactions of how, when they tell you stuff, how you react the first time will determine whether they'll tell you another
or not.
Yes. So I'm trying to. It's a tough balance.
It is very tough.
It's a tough balance.
Because at the end of the day, you still have to be the authority in their lives.
Yeah.
So there's this friendship and there's this authority that you really, really have to balance. And not overdo one.
Yeah. And trying to discipline them in a different way. That's tricks.
It is.
Yeah. So, and then there's the issue of what I felt like we touched on when we were talking about religion. We touched on parenting. And then we also touched on singlehood, relationships, marriage. So can we go to that one now?
Wow, that is another one altogether, because like we said, they sort of tie.
They marry into each other.
Marry into each other.
That's the beauty.
Yeah. As a woman, you need a male figure in your life for you to be significant.
Do you?
Not now. For
do
me,
you need that statement you've said? Do you believe it?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I believe I am complete. I don't need a status like I am Mrs. So-and-so or I am Mama so-and-so. It doesn't, because you can lose that in a day. You can lose it in a minute. You have it today, tomorrow you don't. And it has happened before. So what happens to you as the person when you lose that?
And then
where does that leave you? So I don't think you need anyone or anything to complete you. And it's a good thing when you're married or you're in a relationship and it is working, very important, not just the status, that it is functional, it is conducive for yourself, for your partner. So it's a good thing, yes, but I don't look at it as a must-have. Okay,
let me ask you this differently. What do you believe about dating right now, and what are you going to tell your child about dating? Maybe so that you bring out the point of what were you taught and what are you unlearning? Is there anything different?
A lot.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot. In those days, I think dating was geared towards one goal, which was marriage. Which I said, like, it's supposed to be a journey, or rather a destination. So if you meet this guy, you're not looking at it like, are we compatible? We are looking at the destination. So you miss a lot in between. You miss a lot on the friendship. You miss a lot on a lot of things.
You're busy asking yourself, is he the one? Is he the one? Is he the one?
Are we heading to that destination or not? So in between, you will find yourself wasting time, precious time. That, because I believe now that dating is about, it's like an interview.
Surely.
Yeah. You will send millions of applications. Not as strict, yes.
But getting to know each other.
Yeah. You will send all this. Okay, let me just put it this way. Like, you have sent applications to many organizations. And there are some that have responded, some have not. But to those who have responded, are you just going there to be interviewed, or are you also interviewing the person? And that's how I would look at dating now. Like, you're interviewing me, but I'm interviewing you as well. Yeah? So you're not coming with your checklist and you're ticking, and I'm not ticking mine. Because that's exactly what I tend to think was a problem a couple of years ago, or maybe there was no information as there is right now, that we had a set of rules for women and for men. He must be a provider, he must be, you know, your protector, and all those etc. And you must submit, and you must be a good mother.
Tall, dark and handsome, financially...
Yes.
Financially what?
Financially stable.
Financially stable?
Yeah, so we looked at all those things. We're not saying they are not important, but are you compatible? This guy could be really, really financially, but a narcissist.
And then why were we also non-existent Like, why were we not, you know, why aren't our characters spelled out like that?
I don't remember any conversation about character. I just remember about traits.
Yeah, those traits.
Submission, good
Submission
mother.
But how will we know you're a good mother na hujawai pata mtoto?
I know.
So anyway, about relationships, I think I hear what you're saying. What was I taught? I don't think I was taught anything about relationships.
We had
Experiential.
sessions in high school that were mainly manipulative.
Oh.
Keep your purity until you're married.
Oh.
And God will bless
HIV
your
AIDS.
union. Yes, and if you don't, there's HIV, and there's pregnancy.
Okay, do you
Which
think...
was bigger really than HIV, if I
Okay,
remember the
growing up-
messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up, I felt like, were we not real? Were we not just saying, you know, these kids were our adults not facing the reality that these kids are dating or these kids are in relationships? So instead of going the other way of being blind to what is going on, we would rather just tell them the do's and don'ts.
I don't know if it was from a point of you're afraid they might ask questions that you really cannot answer. So you put in as much fear as you can to put them in check. That's how I see it now. Because you'll be told, Unaona so and so. Did you see what happened when she got pregnant? She dropped out of school. She can't feed her child. She can't feed herself. The most she can be is a mama fua. So your fate is sealed. So when you hear that, you will toe the line. But no one told you that things can be done at the right time. That you can wait. Like there's delayed gratification.
And that we are different.
And that
we mature differently. There's some people who have gotten kids, you know. And they're doing well for themselves. Pretty early, pretty late. Okay, not early, late, according to
depending
the ages that we talk about. So what are we saying about relationships and marriage? For me, marriage, let me first say, it's not an achievement. What I'm unlearning, it's not an achievement. It's not something that now when you do, you're accomplished. What I'm also unlearning is that the issue of dating and courtship, kindly just give yourselves all the airtime that you need to sit down and ask questions, because the forever thing, we usually say it, but we are so soaked in love that we stop the logic part. The logic part is suppressed, and then the love part is high up here.
And do we really understand this love thing?
I highly doubt.
I don't think so. When I look at it now, I see a lot of glorification about the outward appearance. And much later, when I am beginning to unlearn all those things that I learned about love, most of them were informed by novels. And soap operas. And fantasies. As a young person. But qua ground, you realize that all those things, well, they could be important, but they're not the ultimate. Like even your understanding of love is flawed. So there's need for, I am unlearning that as well. That love is not tall, dark and handsome. Love is not financially stable. Love is not you drive this kind of car or you don't. But it's totally different. It's how you are as a person. Can you love me if you don't love yourself? You know? Can you treat me right if you don't treat yourself right?
Wow. Okay, you've introduced to us the next thing. So, self-love.
Wow.
Okay, let me go.
Yeah, please.
Let me go. And funny enough, most of my references will be pegged on religion.
Okay.
Personally, I felt like the whole essence of sacrifice. Yani there's the Beatitudes. Do you remember the Beatitudes?
Yes.
Happy are those who mourn. Happy are those who happy are those who mourn and that are poor.
Comforted.
And happy are those who, I just feel like that whole list is full of suffering. Don't get me wrong, that was me. That was me and how I interpreted it. So I felt like the more suffering you went through, how selfless you are. You know, it doesn't matter the amount of sacrifice. You just, you know, it's about pouring yourself out, pouring yourself out, pouring yourself out. For me, I don't think that issue of self-love, I don't think I ever learned it. Let me just be honest, because at the end of the day, you learn that the voice in my head is too loud telling me how fat I am, or how dark I am, or how, you know, how I'm not good enough. If I'm not top, sijui what in class, you're not good enough. How silly are you? You've made this mistake, now you've done this, now you've done this, now you'll never do this. That voice is too loud. Until I learned the essence of, you know, extending some kindness and grace to myself and being able to catch that voice and just saying, no, Nekesa, you deserve more, you deserve better. Loving myself. That thing is not easy. Now, even now, just now on this other end as a mother, it's a struggle because I want to do everything for everyone else, but when it comes to myself, ile ka energy kamebaki, the last energy that has remained, that's the one I give myself.
And it's really sad.
Yeah.
Really sad because, like I had said previously, how can you love someone if you don't love yourself?
That's the thing.
You treat yourself badly, but you treat other people right. So is that really love, as it were?
You know, you've asked a very hard question. Me, I'm just here still processing. Do we even understand what love is?
I know, because it's informed by a lot of misconceptions and controlling the inner critic, like you said. Most of the time you hear it, when you hear it, you can hear an authority's voice. It's either a parent, it's a teacher, it's a religious leader, or someone in authority. So even when you feel like you can do so much, you begin to shrink yourself so that you conform to what you're told. Nekesa, you're too loud. Nekesa, you're too aggressive.
And talkative.
Nekesa, but really, are you, or is that just the potential within you that wants to, you know, come out and maybe even bless the world? So I'm learning a lot of self-love issues as well, and for me, the inner critic was really loud. Really loud to a point I really shrank and I was a shadow of myself until I realized I'm not doing myself any justice. And if I need to do something for me to be accepted by the world or other people out there, then how much acceptance can I get? If I need acceptance from you and the next person and the next person and the next person, how much can I get for me to be fully enough? For me to be full and be able to pour into those who are in my life. So I would look at self-love from a point of, for me, as the inner critic and imposter syndrome, which is really common for us, I would say, for women, because of all those things that we learned. And so I'm learning intentionally now from credible sources, not from those sources that told you you're too loud, you're too aggressive, but sources that I have chosen for myself to look at as authorities in my life. They don't have to be physically present, but they're somewhere. I can, you know, with the internet now, there's so much access to, you know, credible people and voices that you can trust. And I'm beginning to learn, if I love myself, then I can claim to love someone else. That if I treat myself right, I can treat someone else right. That if I have the right information, I will not want to manipulate my child or someone who I think is lesser than me in one way or the other for me to feel validated.
An instance comes to mind. For me, I recently got the turnaround. It's pretty much recent. After when COVID happened, I was expecting we were expecting our second child. So when that child came, let me tell you guys, I popped and I was like, this was a near-death experience, and I'm done doing anything for everyone. I was so done. I was like, this is my turnaround point. From this moment on, I'm living for myself. The rest of you can do what you like. Just go. You don't live by me, you live by oxygen. Oxygen is there. God has given everyone every need to survive. So let everyone do everything for themselves. For me, that was the turnaround point. And so many things have happened to me and for me. Since that, it was just a switch in perspective, mentality. I don't know. you know, like that paradigm shift brought a lot of things for me. Like, I deserve this, I deserve this, I deserve this. Instead of guilt tripping myself from here to wherever that I've eaten out, I don't know what my kids have eaten. I've bought myself something. Oh my goodness, I'm the worst mother ever. And you know, what are my kids wearing? Those thoughts, you know, a mother should be sacrificial, should put themselves last, and goodness me. Do you want to add on that? Self-confidence.
Wow.
Those two tie in. They go hand in hand.
Yes, they do. And self-confidence is, how do I put it? It's something I'm still working on. It's a work in progress. Because like I have just told you, the inner critic for me was really loud, and a lot of areas in my life were crushed. So I'm now rebuilding. And from a point of, I will be respectful, but I will not let anyone or anything, any other voice be louder than my own voice, than what I already believe. I can accept correction, but I am not that needy girl who will come to you and, Nekesa, what do you think of this? Faith, what do you think of this? Caro, should I not? Like, I will trust my own voice. I will make mistakes. I will forgive myself for the mistakes, and I will move forward, because this is a journey. It is not a destination. And most of those things that we are saying here will impact even also how the next generation that we are raising. So if I'm dented, chances are I will pass it on. And those are some of the things that I am intentionally learning now, that self-confidence is what you believe. It doesn't have to be informed by a set of rules. You could be right, you could be wrong, but it's a journey. You're learning, you're unlearning every day. If it's parenting, you're learning, you're unlearning. If it's career, whatever, you're learning, you're unlearning. If it's relationships with other people, you're just yourself. And that's something else that is very important about being yourself, who you are, what do you believe. You're not defined by any external factors. So for me, that's what I am learning and unlearning.
Really nice. For me, the confidence bit, I had to learn it from the people who surrounded me, because I had a set of friends who we kept affirming each other, and every time they will say, "Where, Nekesa, you and the way you're so confident." So I had to hear that like more than 2 or 3 times to say, yenyewe, sawa, I'm confident anyway. So, but with time though, I normally say I won't die suffering. I'll talk. And I rarely care about the rules.
Which is
But I rarely care about the rules. I will say it as it is. Maybe I'm the one who's setting the rules, or maybe I'll be the first one to break the rules. I'll talk if I need to talk, if I need help, but I'll voice my thoughts. I'll say my opinion. I'll say what I'm really thinking, what I'm feeling, what I'm visualizing. I will say it. I'll put it on the table. Let it be heard. Let it be rejected. But it's out there. So I'm not about to
tone down.
Not about to start to tone down, to sit back and to think twice at least, oh, I should have said this, or why did I say this? That beating myself up after saying something, you're like, why did I open my mouth and say that? You know, that going back and feeling so ashamed of yourself and blah, blah, blah. So those two, the self-love and the self-confidence, I'm learning that my voice matters. I'm relearning that, you know, I have a say. I have a say, and whatever I say can actually influence. It can change. It can change the narrative. It can influence here and there, whether it's at home, at work, in the business, uko nje, in the marketplace. I know that my voice matters, so I use it. I will never. I really fought that thing of. What are the majority saying? So if like we are heading, that's my next point. We are in the political, you know, it's political season. Honestly, I would always say, okay, I will vote for this one, but what's the rest of the world? Who are the rest voting for, so that I don't waste this vote? It's just one. Can it just join with the others? What difference does it make if I vote for
Yeah.
There's a day I voted for, let me not say. Anyway, so that thing of just believing in yourself and in your thoughts and in your voice, it's very strong. It cuts across. So we're in the now political point.
Yes.
What are you unlearning and relearning about it?
A lot. That first, we've had this sit back and watch how things are going to be. No? It's a two-horse race. Who said it's a two-horse race? This dual, either this or that. Black or white. There are other options. But as we get into the season and all that, for me, I am looking at a lot of things. One, it's not just about the popularity of the candidates. It's also how have they been before? Do they have a track record? What can I check against? Is it empty talk? Is it euphoria that this party is more popular than this one? This candidate is more vocal than this one, is more, all those things. And it's now about me. It's about the future of our generation. If you're gonna come and siphon all the money to do your own things, I am sorry, based on, I am not saying anyone has done that or has not done that, because it's what is it called? It's an even playing ground. So this particular one is very key, because I think I understand politics better now than I did then. I understand that it's about resources. It's not about I like you. It's about the resources of the nation. It's about how they're going to be distributed and what's in it for me. As a woman, as a parent, as a citizen of this country, what's in it for me? Because you guys will come and go. If you pass bad policies, they will affect me, they will affect my children. If you put in place good policies, they will be good for all of us. There's I can't remember where I saw this, it's a random place. But there's a country, they were saying that people don't have like electric fences and umbokali and all that. Why? Because everyone is empowered. So we will only need electric fences and umbokali when I know Nekesa has an advantage over me. So I will need to harm her so that I can benefit. Let me twist this around and say that if today you put in place a leader who will enrich a certain class and leave behind the rest, your children, if you think you're privileged today, you will have your children living in a certain neighborhood, and then someone else's children will be in a slum next to that place. So you're not really safe. You're going to be attacked by thugs who think that you're advantaged at their expense. I would look at it like, let's put in place good leadership where we don't have to live in fear. We don't have to live thinking, when can I get a green card so that I can go to...
when can I win and leave you guys suffering?
So I leave you guys here and then mutajisot. Because at the end of the day, what I learned about COVID is we are one. You might be advantaged today, but it's going to catch up with you somehow. So we need to consider all those things and not just be carried away by the euphoria and the hype that will be around.
For me, I'm unlearning apathy. I've been so apathetic. I'm just like, man, whatever, man. And my mom, she's the one who wakes us up very early in the morning. Go and vote at 5 a.m. Be like, okay, we don't care. Amkeni mwende vote, you know. So I'm unlearning the apathy. I've been so apathetic. I'm just like, you know what, you guys? These guys are not helping me to pay my electricity bills and my water and the food. Let me just, you talk about politics, you know. So I'm unlearning that. I am learning to care about what's going on in my country, about the people who are out there in the ballot and the people who are talking, and just going an extra mile to actually understand what happens when who is what and where, you know, the MCAs, the women rep, the who and who. So that's what I'm learning. And I'm learning that my vote counts and that I have to go out there and just exercise my civic rights. I will go out and exercise my civic rights. So that's what I'm learning about politics, and that it affects me. You've said that, you've put it across very, very well. So finally, the subtopic is adulting.
Wow, okay, adulting.
I have one.
Okay, it's a hoax. Those things you are told is a lie.
It's a lie. Okay, is it a lie? Okay, for me, it's like adulting is not as neat as it looked. What am I learning? Because every time I think of myself and I'm like, okay, I am that middle-aged woman that I used to look and say, oh, wait, mama, kwanza mtu siku hizi bado akinita mama, I bet I catch. I know, but I catch. So when I am that person, I am that mama right now, I am that person who is looked at like, guy, this person doesn't bother about their dressing. You know, when you're young girls and you're busy judging people and in your head, I am that person right now. So adulting is not as neat as it looks. And I'm learning that no one has it figured out. No one has it all figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For well, adulting, why I said it's a hoax is because we thought, for me, I thought freedom. Finally, freedom. I can go where I want. Yeah. I can be with whoever I want to be with. Yes. I can dress the way I want. Yes. It's my life. Yeah. But no, darling, it isn't. It's not just your life. Yeah. You're in a system. You don't exist for yourself, by yourself, with yourself. You're still in this community. So that's what I'm unlearning. I'm unlearning that I will have freedom with responsibility. I will not be casually living my life and expect that it's going to be okay. Yeah. At some point, it's going to catch up with me. Yeah. So I am unlearning. Adulting is a process. And you have to be intentional about it. Otherwise, you'll just be growing old. With the same beliefs, same way of doing things. Yeah. You're just growing older, but you're the same person. Yeah. So I'm looking at adulting like, I want to be a better version of myself every day. Yeah. I'll do the best I can. What I can't, what is beyond my control, I leave it. But I will be intentional about the journey. That's what I'm learning about adulting. Yeah. You have to be really, really intentional about almost actually everything about your life. From religion to parenting to everything.
Choices have consequences.
Absolutely.
And the issue of time, you may have your 2 shillings that you thought, you know, that when I get to this age, I'll have money and I'll do all these things and then you get there and you're like, okay, yeah, so wow, I blew the first 1,000 bob, then this second one, I'll have to take care of it and all that. So choices have consequences for me. And the issue of, you said something nice about freedom. For me, what I want to say about that, the freedom in the society, for me, I choose to be different. So I will live my life. I will live how something I read yesterday. I will act my spirit and not my age. That thing, very important. I really liked it. I will act my spirit and not my age. Yeah. Because also I don't like this thing where we are like, I'm 50, I'm 60, and there's a mentality that is old. And yet somewhere else, that is when life is just starting. Yeah. That is when the happiest part of you should be. You know, you've really worked hard, you've just retired. Don't just go and just start, on this trajectory. Yeah. You start to slow yourself down, you start to just slowly say, what am I living for? Every day you're waiting to die, you're not dying. So that mentality, I also just want to pick that one up. Like I'll adult differently. Yeah. Guys, I'll exercise this energy until when I can't do it anymore. Like I'll just be this energetic bubble until.
Amen to that.
Yeah. And do you have something else to say?
Yeah, you said something very important about letting that inner child die. Because I realized that your spirit does not grow old. Your body does, but your spirit doesn't grow old. Yeah. So you'll still have ideas coming to your mind. Yeah. You'll still have new things happening. Yeah. Like every day will be a new day. So why should you resign to fate and
this
say,
thing of acting your age, it's also a societal thing of putting you in some box.
It is. So that you feel like now you need to give space to the young ones. Yeah, there was this thing about was there that? But with age, I think to a certain degree comes with wisdom. So as you grow older, you're also a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
You're able to do things better.
Yeah.
You're able to advise even
Yeah.
the younger generation on how to do things in a different way,
Yeah.
and not like regret. Not like, if you guys, I was your age, ningefanya vitu mingi. Like, you're looking at it in retrospect, like, I wasted my time, I didn't do this or the other, I didn't achieve this or that. But really, like, being grateful about it. I was thinking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
There are people we started school with,
Yeah.
they're not alive today.
Yeah.
So it's a privilege, it's not a
Yeah.
right.
It's true.
Yeah.
True. So for me, I felt like it's a whole cycle. What you're talking about from the start, intentionality, everything you're doing, you have to be very intentional. For you to get there
Yes.
and look back and not have regrets,
Yeah.
and this trajectory of a better version of myself every day.
Yeah.
There's something I wanted to say about comparison. I am not comparing myself with anyone. That's another thing I'm unlearning about adulting.
Yeah.
Because it's been a struggle. Where these high school groups, like, hey, look at that one, where they
Social
are,
media
what they
now.
did. Oh yeah, social media also is another thing. So there's this whole thing of comparison that has really affected us
Yeah.
as a society. Because it's affected us in terms of how we take loans, what we're acquiring as assets, what you're doing, because everyone just wants to go this way. I also want to go that way. I learned something from the book we read about the finances and the woman. What is it? What was it?
Smart money woman.
Yes. You have your own portfolio.
Yeah.
You have your own character financially.
Yes.
And I have my own character
Yeah.
financially. You may want to invest in land. I may not want to invest in land.
And it's fine.
Yeah, that was, for me, that was a takeout, and I haven't forgotten it until date. Like, we don't all have to be doing the same thing, retiring in the same way.
Yeah.
You may have a totally different plan for myself, and that's okay.
Yes, yes.
As long as
absolutely.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Comparison, I look at it as a thief of joy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you've been through. I
Yeah.
don't know your journey.
Yeah.
I don't know what opportunities you've had
Yeah.
that I haven't had.
Yeah.
And really, all those things that add up here and there.
Yeah.
So if I start comparing myself to you, I am stealing joy from myself.
Yeah.
I should probably work on that journey that I set out to achieve, or those things that I set out to achieve. Am I on track? Am I learning and learning the right things?
Yeah.
Am I making strides towards getting to that place and getting there whole?
Yeah.
Not getting there and I'm fragmented, hurt here, bleeding there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really getting to that place whole.
Yeah.
So I don't have to abandon this to pursue that, like you said. I don't need to copy paste your idea and make it my own. Like, be really authentic and do me, because there can only be one me and one you. Yeah.
So what is your parting shot
My parting shot is be real,
from the whole thing?
be yourself.
Yeah.
Be different in your own way.
Yeah.
Appreciate your journey. Don't compare yourself to anyone, because you never know. That person could be where they are today, but you don't know what plan or what opportunities you're likely to get tomorrow, or a detour that could lead you to the same place. So how much more would you have, how much more justice would you have done yourself if you just kept going step by step and not abandon what your initial plan to follow so-and-so's plan. If I didn't, for example, choose to stay in a toxic relationship just to be told so-and-so is Mrs. So-and-so, if I chose to access the right information so that I'm a better person and I'm raising a better generation. Yeah, so there are no set rules, as it were. There are guidelines here and there are self-help tips here and there. But really, what works for you does not necessarily work for me, and that's okay. Yeah.
So my parting shot will come as a short story. There's this whole thing of you are created for a purpose. I'm not disagreeing with that. But this purpose, then it follows. You were created to go a certain way, a certain path, and meet a certain person and get married to that certain person and settle, and all these things are supposed to be falling into place. And there's the mentality that if you miss, then you're the Godani, the rest of you.
Yeah.
You're just like playing, is it catch up, or you'll work hard for the rest of your life, or you'll struggle for the rest of your life, or something like that. So, my parting shot is, there's a reason for all your experiences. And there's a reason that you're going through everything that you're going through. And for me, it's a matter of just evaluate, take some time to really listen to yourself. There's something that we were given, that instinct, that sixth sense.
Yeah.
Like if you really sit by yourself and just evaluate your life and just look at, you know, all your experiences, where you've come from, the choices you have made, how far you've come, and where you're headed, and trusting and believing that this is, you know, this is for me, this is my lot. Yes, I've made mistakes here and there, but it's time to, you know, move on, navigate. How best can I make the most of what I have, or what I'm in, or the situation that I'm in. So make the most of it, take the lessons there, and, you know, pass them on, share. But then your story could change your life. Thank you so much for listening. Tell us what you're unlearning in your own space. Tell us what you're relearning in your own space. Thank you for listening and watching, and have a good one.